I have just returned from a crazy adventure. For nearly 2 months, I left my home, I left my family, and everyday life. I got on a bus and I headed to the Scottish wilderness. This adventure taught me so much, and I was soon going to find the answer to that motto of mine: what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Is it true? The biggest lesson I learned was resilience. When faced with challenges, pushed to my physical and mental limits, and tempted to give up, I didn't. I dug deep, pushed on, and learned from those experiences. Today's been a bit of a tough day. The weather's pretty rubbish, and it's not worth going out and about. So just spent a whole day in my tent. But yeah, some days like this where you feel a bit lonely. You know, I've been away from home for nearly 2 months. You know, away from family. You know, away from just the comfort of being at home, the relaxation of being at home. You're not suddenly worrying about if the weather's going to change, if it's going to, you know, what do you need to do. Worrying about having to make sure you've always got water, making sure you've always got fuel, making sure, you know, you've always got food. But yeah, it's tough. It is tough, and it hits you hard on days like this. Yeah. It's, yeah, this adventuring business can be lonely. Yeah. Loneliness was a massive challenge for me. I was on my own for weeks at a time, with only occasional power when the sun came out to let people know I was alive. At times, I couldn't even heat up water to cook food because I had no fuel, or find safe fresh water due to the extreme heat. And all of these things destroy your morale. And then, when you throw in the Scottish midges, well, that's another story. My boots. Oh, get my boots. Bugger. Oh. Cold, lumpy, watery cup of soup. So what's the physical element of resilience? This can be summed up in one word: Tiree. A small island off the west coast of Scotland that I now have sworn never to set foot on again in a tent. There are a lot of things I wish I knew about this place before I spent 2 weeks stuck on it during one of the worst storms in over a year. Firstly, it's one of Britain's flattest and windiest islands. Secondly, it's renowned for having pretty much zero trees, which isn't very helpful when you take a stove that relies on twigs. The second day on the island, I was standing on a beach with no shelter for miles when I was hit by the heaviest rain I've ever seen. Within seconds, I was soaked through, as was my bag and pretty much most of the stuff within it, revealing how not dry my dry bags were. The beach was about an inch underwater in a minute, and this set the tone for pretty much the rest of my time here. The final straw that really pushed me and turned that adventurous spirit into genuine fear was this.
The wind has suddenly changed direction, and from where it was now on the side of my tent, the tent's gone down, and it's already, the hole's already ruptured a hole in my tent. So seriously, this is not good. So the tent's coming down, and I've got to get out of here now.
Today has definitely been an interesting day. Yeah, I was went to get on my ferry off of this island, and then suddenly they're like, actually no, the ferries are cancelled because there's a massive storm coming in. And by that time the weather was lovely. Next half an hour the weather just drastically changed. Rain and wind like crazy coming in. Suddenly then I saw on the horizon the weather just directly just changed direction. I just legged it to my tent. I was like, I need to get my tent down because this is not my tent. It's in the position it is and where it is not going to hold up. By the time I got to my tent, it was just flat on the floor like that. I got in it and the poles had already made a hole right through the tent of my thing, which is really not good. But honestly, my tent was flat on the floor, like even flatter by this point. The poles are all bent and buckled. That's really, I'm not having a good day so far at all. Yeah, so right now it's just survival mode. Make sure I can keep myself warm and dry because it's cold. It really is cold, and with the wind The wind, I think about 50 miles an hour, and then whatever the gusts are as well, it's strong and heavy rain. The storm hit, 70 mile an hour winds. The only way off the island was cancelled, and my only shelter I had to stay safe in was destroyed. However, it is in these moments when you learn resilience and you build it. You don't always realise it at the time, but if you stay strong, you stand up to the challenge, next time when you're faced with another challenge later on, you remember how you survived and how amazing that felt. The wild is a great environment to build resilience, but you don't have to wait till you're stranded on an island off an island 5 hours by boat from the mainland to build it. As young people, life throws us challenges at us every day, and it's our choice how we deal with them, whether we let them knock us down or build us up. My personal character before I understood this was to let those challenges knock me down. I always struggled with change. If I had my mind set on something and then it didn't go to plan, I couldn't cope with it, and it would weigh me down even more. But through adventure, I learned that I can use these negative experiences to make me stronger, more resilient. And this adventure showed me that it works. That what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is true. If I can share one message with you now, it's this. Look for those times when you're being challenged, mentally or physically. Think, if I stand up to this now, embrace it, I'll become stronger than it. I'll become resilient. I'll become a junior survivor. And that is the attitude of an adventurer.